and welcome to my 8th episode, thus 8th week on board the MV Sagamore. And that's 2 months so far, and a normal contract usually runs about 90 days, so I'm about 55 to 60 days in. But I think this year I'm going to do 120 days just so I can be off for the rest of the year. Now, I know I haven't been too lucky with these scratch-off tickets over the last couple of weeks, but maybe it's just leading up to the very big win. So how about we take a seat and jump right into it. Let's see if we get lucky. I feel like a win this week, so let's check it out. All right, get the camera ready. And we got our ticket here. We are up to number 22. And as usual, we're going to go ahead and start with the bonuses. Alright, nothing on the bonus, so let's take a look downstairs. Scratch all my numbers here. Let's take a look. 6, 7, and 8. It's our 8th week, and lucky number 7. We got 17, 27, 47, 37. I mean, come on. This has got to be a winner, right? Alright, so let's see what we got here. Ah, 1. Not the single we're looking for here, but we're just getting started. 48, well, we have an 8, but not a 48. 70, that's the top number of this game, but not on our winning list. 60, 10 down. 29, nope. Niner, 6, 7, 8, and they give us 9. How much you want to bet? 5 is in here somewhere. 66, nope. 38, nope. 37, close. 49, nope. We're getting all the 9s and 8s, but not the 7. 21. If only this was blackjack. 11. Well, doubling up on that 1. 14, not quite. 32. Well, we got 33. Bumping uglies as our winning number. We've been getting that quite a few times. 42, the answer to everything. 44, nope, well, let's keep going. Halfway through. 12. Nope. 63, 64, close. 23, nope. No symbols so far. Out of any of these tickets. 19, nope. 43, no. 39. That suspense is building up, it's coming. 31, nope. 3. Well, it's not the 5 that we're anticipating. 41. 34, we had 32 and 34, but no bumping ugly. Let's keep going. 16, nope, we had a 17. 36, nope. Lucky number 13, as they say. But nothing yet. Coming down to the wire. 26, 27, Alright, we all know what it's time for. The clutch corner. Can the clutch corner save us? Come on, what are we looking at for today? $500, I'll take that. Wouldn't you? Alright, come on, let's see. Let it be a 7 or an 8, come on. 4. Dang it. Wow, that's 5 in a row. But I'm still feeling a win because we got some bonus tickets today. Yes, we got some tickets from home. My mom sent these to me along with the care package, and hopefully this can break our losing streak or maybe extend it. We will find out. But I still am hopeful because we have the black box special right here. And I've always, well, for the most part, have gotten a win on a black box special. So taking a look at the game, it's called 20 times the cash. It's a $20 ticket. So in addition to my 360 investment on all the other tickets, this will bring us up to an even 400 that we got to try and make back. And we're only 100 in, so we have a 300 deficit. Now, basically, you can get a multiplier from 2x through 10x and a 20x, and that will show up in the winning number column. And that's how I do this ticket. I do it a little differently than I do other tickets. I will actually scratch the winning number column first and do a symbol hunt, because that's where the multiplier is going to be, and that would be an automatic win. So I'm going to go ahead and do that first. But if I don't get any multipliers, then I got to match the number from my numbers in the same row across in order to win the prize. It's a little bit more difficult game, but the top prize is $20,000. That's pretty awesome. So let's see if we can break this losing streak and get a win here. We are kind of in desperate need of one. I think the highest multiplier I've seen on this game was a ×8 win, and it was for $25, so it was a $200 win. That's what I remember for this game. The highest multiplier I ever won was a 20x on a different game, and that one was also a $200 winner. Alright, so this doesn't look like we got a multiplier in here. I don't see one, and tickets even falling apart. Must be an old game, but that's okay. Let's see if we can still get something here. 1646, nope. 1256, 1422, 24, and I think that's a 23 or a 27 maybe, but I don't think that's a win. 54 and 37 maybe, 56 and 59, 18 and 26, 17, come on, this is the black box special. Gotta get a win here. Let's see, 48 and 11. Close, come on. We're down to the wire here, last one. Which I guess you could call the clutch corner. But black boxes and not coming out well for me, so I'm going to double check these tickets when I go home anyway, but I'm sure this one is unfortunately a bust. So maybe this is where all the suspense is waiting for us. Maybe this one will be a winner. So let's go ahead and symbol hunt. Look for that elusive multiplier. Remember, it can be as low as a 2x or as high as a 10x or a 20x. think I have one on the very last number of this game too, so it is possible, but we did not get any multipliers. So let's see if we can match a number. We're getting it close on a few of them, but not quite there. Ah, so close. 47, 48, 49, 55. No, we didn't win on the bumping ugly. A little close. Alright, very last one. Whoops. Alright, I guess you can call this one the clutch corner. This is the last one. Come on. And it's a bust. Dang. This is not boding well for ND Night. But again, it's all for fun, and we'll try again next week. So we have more stories tonight, so let's see what's going on. So, Andy Knight, how are things? Alright, hello, and things are going pretty well for being halfway through this trip. Got probably another 2 months to go. But when you sail for a living and you have your life out at sea, it does have an impact upon your family and friends, but I think one of the bigger impacts is on your pets. Now, sadly, all of my dogs have passed on and crossed the Rainbow Bridge, and I'm currently in talks with my parents to maybe adopt a puppy in the future, which would be awesome. But I know the next time I want to get a dog, I already have some names lined up for them. And I just wanted to briefly mention that before we jump into tonight's stories. They're going to be named after video game characters, and bonus points if you know the references. I'm sure a lot of people will get this first one. But if we get a female dog, I want to name it Samus. And yeah, that's right. I want to name it after the famous bounty hunter. And if I get a male dog, I want to name it Interceptor. And not a whole lot of you may get that reference, but some of the more seasoned retro classic video game players may understand where that reference comes from a ninja named Shadow, and one of my favorite games too. And Interceptor, that's 4 syllables, so it's kind of a long name. I'd probably shorten it to just 2 and just maybe name the dog Scepter. But my family has always been Labrador lovers, and I'm a diehard Labrador lover. But it hasn't actually been until recent years that I learned of the situation surrounding rescue dogs and dogs who are in pounds in need of a forever home. So I think we're going to go ahead and shop, or not shop, adopt, not shop, next time we go to adopt a puppy. I think that would be really awesome. And given when the pandemic started, I heard a lot of people did adopt pets, and I think I even heard a story of 1 pound actually running out of animals because people were staying home and they wanted to adopt a pet to take care of and to spend time with, which I think was awesome. So if there was ever any good to come of the pandemic, I think it was that a lot of animals that needed homes have gotten homes, and I'm very happy for that. But for tonight's stories, this occurred on the Amelia Earhart, and this was with MSC. I want to say it was my 4th ship in that fleet. that I had been on. And I was actually being transferred to another ship from that vessel. I was only on that vessel for about 2 months. A normal contract is usually 4 months, but I was able to transfer to another ship that went to Europe. And when I got to the other ship, I had a like fleet-wide email, and they would send out reports and relief lists for everybody on every ship and throughout the fleet, and when they can expect updates. And they actually had a casualty report of the Amelia Earhart, and it occurred shortly after I left. And I was like, oh my goodness, I was intrigued, but also shocked. I had to read up on it. And it turns out that it was doing an UNREP, which is underway replenishment, in which two ships will sail parallel to each other and transfer supplies from one ship to another, which I think is pretty awesome. And while they're actually underway doing this, I've seen them transfer fuel, water, and even supplies on pallets. And as it turns out, the steering gear had failed on the Amelia Earhart, and it teetered towards the other ship while they were doing an unrep, and they actually collided. And nobody got hurt, thankfully, but there was some damage. But it had a bigger impact on me because it was during a time when the third engineer would have been manning the steering gear. They have like maneuvering positions and manning requirements during those types of maneuvers. And if I didn't get transferred to this other ship in Europe, that would have been me in the steering gear when it had failed and then collided with that other ship. And it would have been a nightmare for me. I would have probably never been able to get over it. So I like dodged a bullet there. And when I was thinking of these casualties, when I was on the Integrity, I was actually talking to the chief engineer about it. And I even asked him because I was curious, because this has never happened to me, but have there ever been a situation where you had to deal with stowaways? People who have secretly snuck onto the ship, without authorization or any type of, authority. And I haven't come across that situation before, but the chief engineers that I have spoken with said that they have plenty of times. And I thought that was really unique, and I guess interesting to say the least, because I have never done that. But I'm not even sure how I would respond in a situation like that. Of course, I would report to the bridge, the captain, notify everybody, and because we don't know if they're refugees or if they're terrorists, so we have to obviously report them. And the chief engineers that I spoke with who have dealt with stowaways before had said that they were all refugees or just poor people trying to get away from their previous life and try and find a new life. So for this next one, this actually didn't happen to me while I was on the ship at the time. The first engineer on that ship loved to tell me sea stories, and I remember this one that he told me because it happened to him. He was the one who actually had done it, and I thought it was really funny. So we were hooked up alongside in a port, and we were actually hooked up to shore services. We would have a hose come to the ship to provide potable water. We'd have electrical cables to provide electricity and power. And when we get all these services connected, we can pretty much shut down almost everything in the engine room. The only thing that we would have running were the potable water pumps, and maybe have a steam blanket on the boiler. And but nothing else would be running. You'd have the lights on, of course, but that's about it. And the engine room would actually get really quiet for once, and you could just drop a bolt onto the deck and it would echo like everywhere. So it got really quiet. And during the graveyard shifts or the midnight shifts, you had some downtime. You'd work on your assignments from the first in chief if you had time, but if you finished your assignments, you just do your rounds and manage the logbook. But unfortunately, some other engineers, they get so bored or so tired that they would take a nap, and you can't do that on watch. But it happened, and the first engineer was telling me that one night he had forgotten something and he went down in the engine room to get it. And when he went down there, only the watch engineer was down there, and the watch engineer had dozed off in the boiler room, and it was really quiet in there, and he was sleeping. So instead of confronting the watch engineer and giving him a much needed chew out, he decided to go to the machine shop and get a tool. A tool like this. And then went up to the engineer, and I assure you he did not beat him with it, but what he did was still kind of cruel. Like I said, if you dropped a tiny bolt onto the deck, it would echo and be really loud. Imagine the noise that this made when he forcibly threw it down onto the deck right in front of the sleeping engineer, and the noise and echoing must have been deafening, probably louder than the main engines running. And it just jolted the third engineer awake like he had just been electrocuted. And I'm sure he got a nice little shock when he realized what had happened and who was standing in front of him when it happened. Probably good chance that he didn't fall asleep on watch anymore. But when I first heard that story, I thought that was hilarious. And going back to my ship over in Europe, where I stayed for a few more months, I remember going to port and going to dinner with a friend. And we had heard of this bar not that far down the street from where we went and got dinner that was, believe it or not, serving a liquor called absinthe. And I actually first heard of that on my summer sea term, or maybe it was my winter sea term, I can't remember, but my sea term for training school. We were about to enter port, and we were actually given a very, very stern warning not to consume any or bring any absinthe onto the ship while we were in port. And that was the first time I've heard of it, and I was wondering what it was, and I've never tried it before, and I was curious about it. So I was talking with my friend at dinner saying, hey, this bar is serving this drink. I've never had it before. I'm curious what it tastes like at least. And just to see how potent it is. And I said right after dinner, why don't we go try a shot? Just not a whole lot, just to try it. And he agreed. And so we finished our dinner, and we had dessert. And it turns out we ate quite a lot. And I turned to him and say, do you really still want to go and get this shot? And he very quickly said no, because he had said that he has tried it before, and he knows for a fact that even a shot of it, after all that we ate, we would be losing our entire dinner and dessert if we went and got a shot. And agreeing with him, I was like, okay, how about we just go back to the ship and rest up and get ready for duty. So I may or may not have dodged a bullet there, but it's an experience I've yet to try, or may never try, who knows. So also on that same ship, we were sailing around in the Mediterranean, and I was the engineer on duty, and we get a call from the bridge to go to all stop. And I was like, is this an emergency? Are we about to run into heavy traffic, or are we getting into maneuvering? What's the deal here? And it turns out that they were going to do a swim call. And I'm like, what? Really? In the middle of the Mediterranean Sea? And I was like, that's amazing. But unfortunately, I was on duty for the duration of the swim call. I had to stop the engines. I had to make sure that they didn't overheat, because there's a steam engine, and we couldn't engage the jacking gear to keep the heat distributed on the engine. So the swim call only went for like maybe 45 minutes, 45 minutes, but they lowered the gangway and allowed people to go down and jump into the water in the middle of the sea. And I just thought that was awesome, but unfortunately I couldn't go swimming in the middle of the sea because I was on duty. But it just was so interesting for me because they say, if you're out at sea, if you're lost out at sea, there's a fear of sharks. But believe it or not, out in the middle of the ocean or very far from land, there's actually no sharks or very little life out there to threaten you because there's no food out there. A lot of the sea life will hang around the shores by land because that's where the reefs are, seaweed, other fish, that's where all the food is. So they will hang out there. That you will not find like whales or sharks or other predatory creatures that live in the water out in the middle of the ocean or the sea, because there's no food out there. But also being able to jump into a body of water and never feeling anything underneath you. Like if you're in a pool and if you're tall enough, you can reach the bottom or you can reach an edge. I guess if you're in the oceans doing the swim call, you could hang on to the side of the ship, but there's absolutely nothing underneath you. And I just find that so thrilling, mysterious, and even terrifying, because it's just like a deep abyss, and it's endless in our minds. And I always let my imagination just run wild with those kind of facts and interesting situations, and just wonder, what is underneath you. Even though there's like little to no life in the middle of the ocean, it's just so unknown. And unless you have special equipment, diving gear, scuba diving, you're never going to know what's deep below you. So swimming with nothing to catch you on the bottom was really thrilling. But and as it turns out, on that same ship, we did the swim call 3 more times. But guess who was on duty all those 3 other times? So yes, I never got to go swimming in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, which was unfortunate. But as we finish up tonight, let's just do some fun random facts. These are actually mini stories, and they're a little tragic, but they're a little humorous too, so I thought I'd go over them with you. This comes from the Giant Book of Useless Information, and it described a person actually working for a bank or one of those guard cars or armored cars when transporting large amounts of money. And one guard actually died when he opened up the door to the back of the truck to get some money out. And it turns out they were transporting quarters, transporting like $50,000 worth of quarters, and almost all of it just crashed down onto him, and it crushed him, and it actually killed him. Imagine that, getting killed by all that kind of money, or at least all that metal. $50,000 worth of quarters is pretty heavy if it falls on you. So it was an unfortunate tragedy for him. And then it tells of another story of a man just driving his car over a bridge in Italy, and a strong gust of wind actually lifted his car up off the road and into the water off the bridge into the river. And miraculously, he was able to break a window and get out as the car flooded, and he actually swam to safety. He actually swam to the shore, but unfortunately another strong gust of wind came and blew a tree over, and it fell on him and it killed him. So that was unfortunate. And then this one I find tragic but also hilarious or humorous, of a man, I think the year was 1911, actually tumbled down and fell off of Niagara Falls, and he broke every single bone in his body. Well, maybe not every single bone, but probably close to the 200 plus bones that we have on our body. And he survived, and I believe it said a year after his recovery he slipped on a banana peel and died from the fall. How unfortunate. I'm sure there were extenuating circumstances to the banana peel fall. Like, I'm pretty sure he didn't just fall and hit the deck. Maybe the trauma that his skeleton had experienced from the Niagara Falls just sent his system into overdrive, and it was just too much, and he died or passed out and died from it. Or maybe he fell on something else or something to have that kind of serious impact on him. But I will finish up with, now I can't remember if I told this story in another video, but I'm going to tell it anyway because it's fun and interesting. And I haven't researched this, so I don't know how 100% true or accurate it is, but the British Navy wanted to dispel the idea or superstition that it was unlucky for a vessel to set sail on a Friday. So what it did was it laid the keel of a new ship, or began construction on a new ship on a Friday, and it finished construction on a Friday. They decided to name the ship HMS Friday, And they even hired a captain named Friday, and then finally went to sea on a Friday. It was never heard from again. Pretty unbelievable, right? All right, well, had a lot of fun tonight, and I'll leave you with this, that God gave all sailors on earth two hands, one to have for the ship and one to have for your shipmate. Have a good night.